So, I wanted to go take and tell you the reason why I have not been here. Depression sucks. Took me away from everyday things. I've done some overdosing of medication, especially with the medication that surpasses or supermises the effects of depression. I've done it with gabapentin, oxybutynin, just to try and take the pain away. Sometimes you don't want to feel the pain. Sometimes you don't want to go take and actually deal with the pain. I know I'm not alone on this. There's a lot of people when you deal with depression and anxiety and just overall not feeling like you're worth to live, you want to go take and end your life somehow. I always told that this podcast will be of different things. A lot of time it'll be about the news segments that I feel entitled to do. I feel entitled to do that yet. But I wanted to bring this up and bring this out to everybody that's affecting the situation with depression. You're not alone. You're never alone in this factor. In this factor, if you are dealing with it, know that there's help out there that you can get if you need it. I know that some of us don't need it. Some of us just rely on ourselves. Like for this, for example, this one factor that I've dealt with my own. I've dealt it with myself. I dealt it with my own, but I have to talk about it, and I have to let you know that it was not a good idea to be alone in this. So, if you are going to do something like this to yourself, and if you're going to be overdose on medication that might help your stuff that you deal with each and every day, if you have other medications that you overdose with to try and take the pain away mentally, don't do it. Believe me, when you have the shakes one day, and then if you have pain in your legs another day, and in the whole body, is that telling you something that there's something wrong with you? Yes, it does. I blame it on maybe like the flu, that the respiratory infection that's going around. I blame that on all on that, and it's not that at all. And I know that I deal with it. I know I have to stop dealing with it. I know that I have to, be, you know, be a part of. I don't know how to say it, but I need to make sure that I go take care of myself. Take care of myself and make sure that I am going to deal with myself better. Be better. Be better on this thing called the internet to tell people about how I feel. So as we make these podcasts, I want to tell people how I feel. So with that, let me go back into my how I feel about this how I feel about this election, about this guy that we have in the White House, President Trump, and tell you how I feel about being a Democrat or independent as we work through this wobbly mess that we're in, this muck of the soggy muck or mud that we're in, and we see it. We're actually having shit on our shoes. Sorry for saying that word. But we have it on our shoes, and it doesn't smell too good. It doesn't smell too good that we are dealing with this. So that's what we're talking about here today. It is about all the muck that we are dealing with Trump. You know, we're dealing with the tariffs that he put us in to. We are dealing with, that I don't know how much more we can deal with at this moment in time, but we're dealing with it. We're dealing with a lot of stuff, folks, and I know how you're feeling. I know how you're feeling with all this. You don't know how you feel. You don't know what's going to happen, and we are here, together. We are here together to try and put this all together as we continue on. So I know how you feel about it, folks. It's not feeling great. We uh, we have to we have to start fighting right now. Show that we can do. Show this president that what you're doing to this country is not going to be fair. We're not going to let you do it. And what we have to do is we have to fight and we have to be together on this fight. So I'm looking for some places. I know there is one place on Discord that you can join his server if you want one. Um, if you want to join his server, it's called the Mocklers Mafia. Yeah, again, this is called the Mocklers Mafia, and it's Adam Mockler, and he has his welcome for everybody that comes in. He has his videos that he posts on YouTube. He will post on his YouTube. Uh, you can talk to Adam just by leaving him a note. He'll talk to you. He has news about the news, what's going on in the news. He has about politics in general that you can talk about in politics in general. Basically, we are talking about what's happening, what's going on, with the problem that's going on in, with Canada, Ukraine, Russia. We have these opportunities to talk about, and and Tesla and the Dumber. It's starting to get to be like Elon Musk is in Dumb and Dumber. They're talking about that. So that's kind of funny. Um, it will show you all of them. That is with the voice channels, of course. But for the most part, he has just, he has forums. Forums that I do not go into the forums too much. But Blue Sky is a place to go to now than Twitter and Facebook. You can go to Reddit. Reddit's a pretty good one to go take and actually use. But you can go to national politics. It will give you all the forums with national politics. You can go to off topics. Off topics have like the about the blue sky issue. I do believe I thought I saw it right here somewhere. Yeah, blue sky blocklist. Changed the molecular server. Some changes that went on in the molecular server. It actually will tell you. What do you think of all the changes? He'll be asking you about that. Nate will. Nate is one of the official people here of the official people. I guess that's you would call them OPs, official people. Um, when was this put in? February 2nd of 2025. This was put in. So far, I hate it. All the specialty channels are gone. So what was the point? Bring back the non-politics channel. Yeah, they want you to have the non-politics channels. Good thing I copied all the links from the political movies channels that just had a day or two before. Not sure I could have found them all again easily. So, yeah, we want to jump to the present. Good enough, I guess. That's what they're saying. Good enough. So, anyways, yeah, it's they want to do forums instead of doing the channels, and um, I got into forums on one of my other ones, and I just didn't like it. I didn't like it that I had the forums. So, anyways, let me do. Oh, I do have a. I do have one for this podcast. I do have a Discord server. Um, I will share that with everybody with the link down below here in the description. So I'll get that put on there for everybody, and everybody can see what that's going on here. Let me see. It's called well, it's actually a private server. So I'm not going to go take and open it up to everybody. So I'm not going to share the link. I'm sorry. Just thought about that. So it is a private server, and I just don't want to go take and share my private server to everybody. So I do have another one that I'm actually thinking about actually doing here. So at this moment in time, it's not up and running yet, but I will get it up and running. And actually, I can do it here right now. Just give me just a second here with the server profile and everything. Server settings. Alright, server settings. We're going to call this instead. We're going to call this. We're going to call this the Scoopy channel. We should have called it the Sleepy channel, huh? The Sleepy channel. The Sleepy channel. There you go. The Sleepy channel. You know, we can have the Sleepy channel. How about that? No, we won't have the Sleepy channel. Trust me. Um, let's call it Scoopy's podcast. Scoopy's podcast. There you go. I will get a different icon eventually. Scoopy's podcast. That's what we'll call it. All right. So let me see. What can we call this? We're gonna call this. We're gonna have something here. We're gonna have. Can we have forms? No, we can't have forms here. But we got this in general, and we're gonna just keep that in general right now. So we'll keep this here. We'll call this the Scoopies Podcast. So I can invite people here to this one. We're gonna edit this link. We're gonna have it generate a link. Hmm. We're gonna keep this link for. It's never going to. There's no limit to how many. So we're gonna just generate a new link. Copy. There we go. Copy. All right. So we got a link. I will put it down there in the description after all. I forgot about that one. That's interesting. Forgetting about that one. We were just wandering away and we forgot about it. How about that? I do have another thing. I do have all my links as well, which I haven't posted that. I will, I'll get my all my links posted here um, after I suggest myself to getting them taken care of. But yeah, that was that was simple. Getting all my links. It could be simple as of that. The other thing that we can do is I'd like to interact with people. I want to interact with people. You can interact with me on Discord, and we can do a public one with Audacity or OBS Studio. So we can do that, and we could have an interaction with some of my Discord members, and we could do that. We could do a lot of different things uh, with OBS Studio. We can make it into a video podcast, or we can make it into a podcast itself. So yeah, there's different ways that we can do this. Just to let you know, we're not limited to on doing things here. We got a lot of different ways that we can actually flourish here, and I would like to get involved with all of you and see where you want to go with all this. See where you want to go with this podcast, because I want to go take and interact with people here. That's my biggest thing, is interaction. I want to know what you want to see, what you want to hear on this podcast. If you want to join with me in this podcast, feel free. Feel free, because this is for all of you. So, anyways, we got that taken care of. We were talking about the muck and about the tariffs and about what we need to do. Told you about getting to some places where you can actually talk to us about it, and you can have a different. You have Adam Mocular, the Mocular's Mafia, for a Discord server, and you can see his YouTube videos. I'm for sure that you've seen his YouTube videos and what he has posted. It's very, very interesting posts that he does make, and I agree with what he says. I agree with pretty much everything that he says. I agree with him, and I think it's a good video podcast. Um, can we do a little bit of a insert of it, maybe possibly? Let's go ahead and do that, shall we?
This, but Ford donated $1 million to Trump's inauguration and a bunch of trucks, a fleet of vehicles to use during the inauguration, which ended up being held indoors. But now There's an article detailing how Ford will be hit the hardest by Trump's tariffs due to how much aluminum and steel they use. And it's kind of funny. I want to break down a series of stories in that vein, so make sure you drop a like, drop some blue hearts, and let's check this one out.
Okay, before we check that out, he goes into, he has where the CEOs say that they're losing faith in Trump and they don't trust that what he said today will be true about tomorrow. So we got we got Ford already saying that they don't trust what he is talking about. Okay, so we're already having an issue with what is going on with the president, having Ford already disliking him. That's uh, that's what uh, that's what was being told about. Okay, let's go back to what he says.
Tomorrow. And we've broken down multiple stories in this vein as well. Businesses thrive off of predictability. An economy grows when there's a predictable environment. You know how many resources you need, how many resources to import, to allocate towards this. You can pay this employee that. But when Trump introduces this new factor of complete and utter unpredictability, maybe there will be tariffs. Oh, maybe there won't. Oh, maybe aluminum will be exempt. Never mind. Actually, aluminum will be tariffed more. He's done all of this verbatim. He flip-flops and then is completely contradictory the next day. So yeah, CEOs are right to be a little bit wary. What about this? Quote, tariffs break trust. How Trump's trade policy is putting pressure on U.S. farmers.
So the U.S. farmers are also having trust that they're putting it's because it's putting pressure on the U.S. farmers that they're going to have this issue as well, and they don't know what's coming up the next day. They don't have they don't have they don't know what's going to happen. So we have problems with this issue as well. That um, Canada, Mexico, and China's trade of corn, soybeans, wheat, alfalfa. It's a lot. Yeah, I don't believe why we're taking in, uh, going and taking tariff in China. Let's hear what he's talking about right now.
Has to navigate a tariff minefield at a time when the sector is already facing major headwinds. Raglan works with his wife and 3 sons and has deep roots in the community. His family has been farming on the land for more than 2 centuries, but in recent years, he has seen a double-digit percentage decline in crop prices while production costs rise, with soybean futures having gone down more than 40% over the past 3 years. They even link to soybean futures over the past few years. You can see there is a steady decline over the past 1 year. Over the past 5 years, there is a steady decline. So pressures are mounting in this industry as a result of tariffs imposed by the second Trump admin, and then the retaliatory levies from other countries are the real cherry on top that will cripple these farmers. People who voted for Trump. Remember, a lot of farmers, not all farmers, a lot of farmers voted for Trump multiple times. Quote, my sons potentially could be the 10th generation if they're able to farm. If they're able to farm, says Ragland, who is the president of the American Soybean
Hold on
Association.
with that. If they're able to farm, if they're able to farm, is one of the things that it's coming out to be with the situation there. So, if they're able to farm, says this isn't the first time farmers have had to deal with new tariffs. Back in Trump's first term, the trade war with China was in 2018, a time when Raglan said that the agriculture economy was in much better place than it is right now. Cost of U.S. agriculture industries is more than $27 billion, and soybeans made up virtually 71% of the annualized losses. So that trade war was the cause of lasting damage to this day. The U.S. has to fully recover its losses in the market share of soybeans exports to China, the world's number one buyer of the commodity, according to the ASA. So all we're coming up to be here, we're seeing this issue going on and on with how it's affecting us. It's how it's going to affect us. It's affecting us as in farmers wise much more than it is with well it's affecting the other parts of this situation with with the tariffs going in place uh, with steel, metal, electricity. Um, it's it's horrible. It's not good. So 92% of Trump's China tariffs proceeds has gone to bail out angry farmers. So that's another thing. And Ford donates 1 million in fleet of vehicles to Trump's inauguration. That was another thing that Adam was talking about earlier. Um, he was. Let's go back into his podcast and what he's talking about right now, shall we? Yeah.
Coming admin would likely affect Ford, who is already struggling to ramp up production and sell their battery-powered models. So the Ford CEO tries to curry some favor with the incoming president. And I read this really interesting article about tariffs, and it's a point that isn't often made. Not only are tariffs bad economic policy, I could talk all day about how terrible they are as economic policy. Not only do they not give Trump as much leverage as he thinks, but also it is the exact type of economic policy that breeds corruption, actually. Corruption and tariffs go hand in hand because when a president is unilaterally imposing tariffs on other
So
countries or companies,
here we
then
go
certain
again.
leaders can ask for favors or give
Tonight
favors to Trump,
we have some
and then
problems
they're
with that
exempt from the
audio. I'm
tariffs.
sorry.
Or the owners
But
of
here we go
companies
again.
can give Trump
Can we
millions of
go take a
dollars
stop
and
that
then they're
audio,
exempt.
please?
You can imagine a
Thank you.
reality where the Ford CEO, I can literally picture.
All right, there we go. So the whole situation with that, I don't know if you've heard the whole thing with what he was talking about, but he was talking about some of the tariffs and some of the things that are going into effect. Um, one of the other things is one of the biggest victims of Trump's metal tariffs is the Ford F-150. It's going to cost steel, aluminum, and tariffs threaten to boost car prices, dent in automakers' profits because it they make the Ford F-150 in Canada, in Mexico. So they make them out. They resource them out, but they want to bring them back here into the uh, into the country here, which is going to take a lot of doings. Can we go back into his podcast again? Shall we? Let's go back into his podcast once again.
Right. The Ford F-150, the top-selling vehicle in the U.S. and the automaker's main profit engine, is one of the industry's biggest users of aluminum. The Trump administration reinstated early Wednesday a blanket 25% tariff on steel imports and boosted the levy on aluminum made outside the U.S., but these tariffs are entirely incoherent because we don't have the ability to produce this steel or aluminum at home. It's one thing, listen, it's one thing if your policy is to say, in 6 months, I will be imposing tariffs. Companies, you have 6 months to reshore manufacturing, to build plants, to hire workers at home, and to build the infrastructure needed. The clock is ticking. You have 6 months, maybe 10 months if I'm feeling nice. That actually gives companies a grace period, is what they call it. But when you're doing this, when you enact tariffs 1 month into being elected, you're basically just giving a middle finger to both the companies like Ford and to our allies. It's entirely incoherent, as I said. The tariffs are the latest Trump administration trade barrier that threatens to inflate already high
So
car
can we?
prices.
Okay. So we're not going to go take and actually get this done within the 6 months or 10-month time frame on getting these tariffs back into America. That's the problem that we're having here. All right. We're having the problem that we're not going to be able to actually get this done in the time frame that he wants it to be done. You know, he wants it to be done, but why? How are we going to get it done if we don't have the means and the capabilities of having it to be done? Let's get back to Adam and see what he has to say.
High quality aluminum used in vehicles' outer bodies starts out as imported aluminum, and there are a dwindling number of domestic alternatives. Ford's brawny F 150 and Super Duty pickup trucks, the company's biggest profit generators, are among the most aluminum intensive vehicles on the market. The company, a decade ago, converted the trucks to a mostly aluminum exterior, including the hood, doors, and truck bed, all aluminum. So now they're cooked, as we would say, as Gen Zers would say. They are cooked. I mean, let's pull up the Ford stock. I mean, just today, let me zoom in here. Just today, Ford Motor Co. seems to be down a little bit. I guess over the past month, it's up a little bit. I don't want to say it's down. It's over the past 6 months, it's down 10%. Over the past year, it's down. So far, Ford hasn't taken quite the hit, but I'm not going to say it's up over the past 24 to 48 hours. This is the effect of Trumponomics, everybody. This is the effect of Trumponomics. You know, when he was entering office, I was saying something to the effect of,
Exactly.
there's a reality where he kind of sits back, plays golf, and coasts off of Biden's economic accomplishments. I was naive. I was naive
Exactly.
enough to think that maybe Trump would sit back and just take credit for Biden's booming economy. Maybe it's
Right.
not entirely naive. That is something that Trump would do. Many people did think that Biden's economy would
That's
take
what
us
I
very
thought.
far, but Trump has already somehow ruined it. And I'll leave it at that. Drop a like, subscribe. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
I I totally agree with what he's saying. That we're seeing an economy that that Biden that he inherited with Biden was okay. It was going to get better, but he just made it worse. And I can't believe that he would do something like that either. So let me get back into my other party, shall we? Stop. Okay, so I think that we're okay here. And we're back, and we're going to continue on with this story about the tariffs over here on our podcast here. So what I was saying about the podcast, what I was saying earlier was that the situation with has you heard Adam Michler respond about the situation with with the whole situation with the tariffs on on Ford, which they went and took and they sponsored, uh, which is kind of weird. Um, they went and took and they sponsored them for the inauguration, and then they got hit in the face, pretty much. So how can you trust somebody that's going to hit you in the face? You're not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to. So they know that they got a problem here with Trump, and they can't do anything about him. So they're going to just slap on the tariffs for right now and see where it goes in the next 10 months, 6 months, 6 to 10 months. As I was saying earlier, farmers are, uh, especially family farms, they're probably never going to make it with what he's doing. And I don't think he cares about that. I don't think he cares about it. He doesn't care about the family farms. He doesn't care about what's going to happen next with the family farms. Uh, they're the ones that are going to hurt. generations are going to hurt. This generation's going to make it hurt. 10th out there, 10th generations that want to be farmers, want to farm. They're going to all hurt. So that's how it's going to be. Anyway, that's about it for our show for today. I enjoyed talking to you about all the situations. But keep in mind that you're not alone in anything. I will make sure I put it in the description, my whole thing about my problems that I'm dealing with. And I'll make sure that I go take and actually uh, tell you the link to the new Discord so that you can go take and actually start talking. I know that I probably won't have that many people at first, but we will continue on with this, and we will continue on talking about Trump for the next 4 years until these Republicans are not in control anymore. With that being said, I thank you so much for being with us here today, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye for now.